think he did personally?
I thought he did really well. Those two guys are among the hardest guys in the league to guard. So it's really a five-man game when you play them. You have to have a lot of help, no matter who's out there on those guys. So I thought Steph did a good job on the ball, and the other four guys around him did a good job in help and containment. And one area where we can improve is rebounding, because they got a lot of offensive boards. But this always kind of happens as a series gets going, you start to get a feel for the detail and the nuances, and both teams start to take care of little details a little bit better, and then it gets tougher and tougher as you go.
Steve, how pleased were you with the way that Steph and Clay moved without the ball?
Yeah, the movement was great. We had we had 30 assists. I think we had like 17 secondary assists, which is a great number. So the ball was moving. We played with good pace. We took care of the ball in general. So we can play better, but all in all, for a game one, it was a really good start.
How much does it help you that you can count on your defense again after not really going to them much in the Rockets?
Yeah, we're going to need those guys, and I thought the key stretch of the game was the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. We had a chance to break it open in the third. We're up 17, and Portland cuts it to 6 at the end of the third. And that group that came in, that included Jordan and Quinn, Jonas, Sean, and Clay, they made a really good push. Quinn hit two of the biggest shots of the game, back-to-back threes to give us some cushion. And that was a really important part of the game.
Hey Steve, as stoic as Clay might be at times, seems like this season in the playoffs, there's a lot of times he might get really hyped up after a play, offensively or defensively. Have you noticed that in particular?
Clay's Clay.
Yeah.
It's not like he's always stoic. He's stoic a lot of the time, but he gets emotional at times too. He lets it all out. Clay's a big-time competitor. That's one of the underrated things that maybe people don't see too often, or see or realize what they're looking at. But he's an unbelievably tough, gritty competitor. What day is it? What did we say?
We'll evaluate tomorrow.
Update Thursday. So there's no update on tomorrow's update.
It's still possible you can play tomorrow.
It's entirely likely we will have an update tomorrow, as we've been saying.
Damian Jones was a nice story just getting on the court yesterday, but is there something he might be able to add to your options so that Bogut or even Cousins couldn't provide it with Cousins?
Well, he's a tremendous lob threat. Damian is an explosive leaper, powerful around the rim. And, if the defense that we're facing, regardless of the opponent, starts playing us a certain way, and we feel like there's a lob threat available, then we could put him out there in that case.
His job description has always been constant shooting and defending, but specifically in these playoff matchups, how have you seen him handle the defensive assignments, just knowing those guys and different styles and how they play?
Same way he's always done it. If you just go back over the years, you can go down a list of the top 5-6 players in the league, and Clay guards those guys. Whether it's LeBron and Kyrie against Cleveland, or Westbrook when we play OKC, Harden, Chris Paul, he guards everybody. That's why he's one of the very best players in the league, because the playoffs are all about two-way players. You've got to be able to score, you've got to be able to defend, and so two-way guys rule the day in the playoffs, and Clay is right at the top of the list when you talk about two-way threats.
Why haven't you gotten credit for being a great player? Why hasn't Clay gotten more credit for being a really good player?
I don't know. I talk about it all the time, so I blame you guys for not exposing it more. I don't know. I think Clay gets it gets lost in the shuffle a little bit around here just because we've got Steph and KD, two MVPs, past MVPs, and Draymond gets a lot of attention as he should. He's an all-star player, and he's kind of the emotional heartbeat of our team. So play just kind of blends in sometimes, but you ask any coach around the league, he's one of the most respected players in the game because of his ability to play both ends.
Hey, do you think he likes it that way?
No, doesn't bother him. I think he does kind of like it that way. He doesn't need the fanfare. I know that when Raymond tells our guys that they have media today, like we didn't know if we were going to have media today because we just had a film session, no practice, but because it's the West Finals, we have to have media. When Raymond names the two guys who have to do media and Clay's not one of them, he says, "Yes," and he walks off. So he loves you guys personally, but he doesn't want any of the fanfare.
He looks like Raymond.
Steve, you mentioned that he doesn't mind kind of being put back in that shuffle. There was a report that he was quote unquote tired of the crumbs, if you will, like Stephen Smith said.
Yeah.
Do you think that holds any water?
Oh yeah. Well, Clay is so tired of just the crumbs falling off, and
Nothing.
Those rings.
there's lots of reports out there that we see Clay every day. He's pretty happy.
What do you think about the way the draft order shook out and the 3 big surprise for New Orleans?
Yeah. It was a bit of an upset, I guess, right? What were their chances going in? 6%. So, but I guess the top teams had a 14% chance. So I guess there's no such thing as an upset in the lottery the way it's constructed. So interesting, and it'll make for an interesting summer for sure. But I'm just a fan like everybody else. So I'm intrigued by what's going to happen in the league this summer, and happy for Alvin Gentry. So beyond that, no comment. I did. Yeah. He should watch his mouth. You should never swear in front of the media.
Steve, were you kind of perplexed by the way that some of the Portland Bigs were playing Steph last night? And if so, how do you expect them to adjust, and how do you guys plan to,
I think, every team has to play according to their personnel, and they have to play a style that makes sense. And then in the playoffs, if something doesn't work well, then you make an adjustment from there. But you can't just start throwing crazy schemes out there in game one that your players aren't comfortable with. So nothing surprised us about last night, but you're talking about Steph Curry, a guy who's done this. He had 33 in the second half against Houston the other night. So sometimes the schemes don't matter, but you do anticipate changes during the course of a series as the series goes on.
Who were the last team on Steph?
Oh, I don't know. There are absolutely lots of teams drop. Utah drops, Milwaukee drop. There's plenty of teams that drop, and again, it's based on personnel. It's based on what makes the most sense for each team, and so we see a lot of different. Steph sees a lot of different coverages.
How much of the recent bench success do you attribute to the fact that they might just have an awareness that with Durant out, they need to step up and provide a little bit?
I think that's part of it. I think when Kevin went down, that was the message in our film session the next day. Was everybody be ready? We're going to play everybody, and I think guys were excited for their opportunities. And the last couple of games, they've really done a good job taking advantage.
Dame and CJ didn't shoot too well last game. Obviously, a lot of it was because you guys played great defense, but you guys all aware and tell you guys that anybody can be able to hit contested shots and probably won't shoot as poorly for a full series.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. They're both fantastic players, very explosive. So we're under no illusion that we're going to stop them. We're just trying to make things as difficult as possible, and but we're well aware they're going to heat up at times, and we've got to just continue to defend and follow our game plan, and see if we can continue to build on game one. But things change. These series all change as they go, and you can't ever get comfortable. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Steve.
All right.